Hey guys, I'm your Comanche today and Watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video, guys. I'm glad to have you all here today. Hey, listen, a few days ago, we uploaded a video. I forgot the title, something about hitting a brick wall, right? I hit my very first wall. I hit a plateau inside the game. Well, I'm happy to report that subsequently, I was able to make a lot of progress just because you know how this game is, right? You hit that brick wall in one area. All you gotta do, and it's part of the beauty of this game, is just refocus to one of the other million areas to focus on seemingly, right? Not the market, but you know, the other areas to play in the game. And you make progress there, you come back and circle back a few days later to that area where you found so difficult, and suddenly, because you're able to grow stronger, your heroes, your account, etc., you're able to clear said content. So I really enjoy that, but you know, I say all that to say that in that video, a lot of you guys, tremendous positive feedback. You like just kind of going with the flow, talking about things that I learned along the way, areas that I'm stuck with, and honestly, you guys had a lot of good kind of tips and ideas in the comments below, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it again today. I think videos like this, talking about mistakes in this case, not even mistakes, maybe regrets, and maybe even that's too strong of a word, just things I would do a bit differently. Of course, we learn from our mistakes in life and in Watcher of Realms, right? Not to be too pretentious. But, you know, I want to do the same thing again today with you guys. So, without further ado, these are things that that I wish I could do, or I would have done a little bit differently going back. Some of these cost me money, some of these cost me time, some of these were just inefficient. Let's start with probably one of the more obvious, or two of the more obvious areas, which I probably have mentioned in passing, but they deserve to be front and center, right? And what is the storyline? You know, everybody's going to tell you, even every beginner guide you go to is going to be like, just do the storyline if you don't know what to do. And it's true, it's absolutely true, but I still kind of neglected it. First of all, if you just follow the storyline in this game, it is going to make you do a little bit of everything so that you're progressing and earning bonus rewards all along the way. You don't want to go back and do this content that you've already done to catch up, right? And that's what I had to do. But the reason I say stress the storyline so much is frankly, just because of Vulca. You know, I mean, the rewards are amazing. Don't get me wrong. It deserves to focus on the storyline just on the rewards alone. But Vulca is such a game changer in this game, right? And after Tide 105, okay? I think odds are most of you probably are not there yet at 105. That's quite a ways through the Tide, but you will get there. Trust me, you will get there as you improve your Tide talents. Just day after day, just make sure you go in there, run your battles, you'll get there.
Champions aren't found on the podium with their hand up. No, champions are found in the lab studies.
After 105 in the Tide, you get Awakening Soulstone for Vulca. By that time, you want it to kind of coincide. By the time that you get to when you're nearing 105 in Tide, you want to have your Vulca. You want to be done with your storyline, and I was not there, man. I just slacked on storyline. I got to 105 Tide, and I was just sitting on my hands, right? But you want to awaken her because Vulca, you can see, I don't even have her built. There's no gear on her. There's nothing, you know? And by the way, Vulca's a pretty dang good hero. She deserves to be built, and I will get around to building her at some point, but I just wanted to get her awakened because the allies revival time minus 25%, it's not predicated, kind of like Venoma's initial rage bonus. There's a lot of them, right? Kind of King Harza's shield. You don't need to even play these heroes. You just need to have them on your roster, right? On the team. And Vulca arguably is the most powerful in this regard. Allies revival time minus 25%. It's going to take all those typical 60 seconds and bring them all the way down to 45 seconds. That is incredibly significant and is an absolute game changer in a lot of areas, specifically Gear Raid 2, but just really all over a campaign, especially in the more challenging stages, all over Void Rift as well. We're going to be doing a lot of recalling or retreating and then, or just swapping in and out heroes. A lot of that content is made exponentially more difficult when you do not have an Awakened 1 Vulca, and an Awakened 1 Vulca is something that everybody listening and watching right now can get, so prioritize it.
Now priority number 1.
Make sure you're focusing on that. I should have done it a lot sooner. It's embarrassing how long it took me to get an A1 Vulca, and she was a game changer, even at level 27 with no gear on the account. The next one, guys, again, probably like the most obvious one out there, but I have to mention it, man. And it is utilizing your Lord skills. Now, we know it. We know Lord bonuses. And again, I'm starting with the most basics, you know. But man, oh man, right? I cannot tell you. I think in the beginning of the game, I even said in my beginner guides, make sure you use Lords. Lords are really good. But in practice, when I was actually in the game. Oftentimes, I should have, in hindsight, swapped out a better hero for a Lord to take advantage of the Lord bonus for everybody else. It would have been better in a lot of situations, not every, but in a lot of situations, just to have the Lord bonuses because they're quite significant. I mentioned this recently, but anybody who's coming from raid playing Watchers, a common mistake, because there are some parallels, I guess, between the two, is to compare Lord skills with auras because it's kind of like a lead position and it gives you a stat bonus. But Lord skills are just, if aura is a 1 out of 10 bonus, Lord skills are a 9 out of 10. They pale in comparison. They're absolute game changers. And of course, you can have 2 Lords as well. Basic attributes by 10%, that's everything. All their basic attributes. That's already better than an aura. But then it goes on, every Lord's obviously a bit unique. But even on an epic Lord like Wrath, we get a faction ally deployed. All faction allies gain attack speed, 5%, 10%, 20%, 35%. For each one that we deploy. I cannot articulate well enough, or overstate, I should say, how extremely valuable, not just Nightmare, not just Wrath, but all Lords are in the game. You know what you can do? Just experiment. Experiment more with Lords. If you're having a challenge in any area, if you hit that brick wall in any area in the game, just try. Just for S's and G's, swap out whoever you're using with a Lord and try to stack it with that faction. And, you know, more often than not, I feel like it's going to yield some nice returns for you for making those changes. So yeah, I just underused Lords, frankly, you know. Okay, next one while we finish this battle here. This is a pretty basic one, but it's pretty embarrassing. I don't talk about money tips too often, spending tips, because I know I think the majority, or around half of my audience, is free to play. But for the other 50% who spend, I feel like I should talk about this kind of stuff. And it's how I spent my money early on, right? I wasted, not a lot, but I wasted a decent amount of money. You know, it's all relative, right? Buying psychic powers and promotion material in this game. That's really dumb, man. First of all, promotion rates, along with, well, I would say even easier, I would say. After a few months of playing, even free to play, you're going to be able to clear most of the stages, the end stage, Extreme 2, if not Extreme 1. You can get all this stuff. All the stuff that you need to upgrade your heroes just through a pretty reasonable amount of total farming. You can, we have a problem here. Houston,
we have a problem.
We have a problem over here, guys. This is not going to work with two here. Anyway, back to my point, guys. Psychic powers, man, listen. Promotional material, mythic, whatever the heck it is, all that stuff is so easy to get, you know, and they're pretty generous with their overall rewards. They're pretty generous with how much they give you, you know. The promotion materials, maybe not so much. And granted, we are limited by stamina, so I understand. But to me, it's one of the more compulsion buy, sorry for the loss, and I fall out of Overlord too. How embarrassing, in the middle of my video giving tips about mistakes, I'm losing arena battles. Oh my god.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
But no, back to my point, guys. Psychic power promotion materials, I don't buy any of that stuff anymore, ever. You know, it plays to your inner demons. So the thing is once we pull a new hero, once we summon a new hero, the inclination is most people don't just save infinite, you know, promotion material and mythic extract and stuff like that, and they end up, or psychic powers or whatever, and they go end up buying that stuff because they want to upgrade their new toy. And that's where they really get you. Just wait in the day, farm a little bit of the promotion raid, or better yet, farm ahead of time. But most importantly, psychic powers in this game, I find that just upgrading, quick upgrades, quick star ups, I find it a lot easier than most other games in the genre. So that's why I'm not buying psychic powers at all either, right? I'm just farming the old-fashioned way. So spending money in this game, if you're gonna spend on anything, just go for the passes, you know, like the Dragon Pass and the bonus. Like, you get really good 3.5 speed, you get really good rewards there. So I think I made my point. Let's move on and get out. We're back in Overlord.
Good job, team.
All is well. Let's move on to the next tip, guys. This one is about legendary skill crystals, okay? I'm kind of stating the obvious here when it comes to legendary skill crystals. But they're very freaking hard to get, especially if you're not farming Nightmare 4 Guild Boss, right? They're very, very hard to get. So spend them incredibly
wisely.
It's tempting when you're sitting on, and I'm sitting on a few right now, right? Sitting on 6. Wow, that's pretty good, right? So it's tempting that once you have these incredibly, incredibly rare resources, to spend them immediately, because you're like, okay. I got 6 here, guys. I mean, Hex is really good. Hex is incredibly good. So is Eloin. Azor's not, but I have him fully awakened, so why not? You can talk yourself into using them on anybody and everybody. And obviously, it's better to use them than to hoard them forever. But be very, very selective.
Do that to me? Don't patronize me and don't mock me!
I hate to say, but I did burn some of my legendary skill crystals, quite a few, on, frankly, was it Calypso? I forgot who, but a couple legendary heroes that I don't really use much anymore. Not to say they're trash, not saying Calypso's trash, but yeah, I just have better options. Every account is different. Make sure, if anything, just give the litmus test of, you know, how many areas do I currently use this hero? Do I think I'm going to use this hero long term? Is it an easily upgradable hero? Same thing goes for epics to a lesser extent, but just put a lot of thought behind it, you know? How many lords do I have a lord in this faction? You know, am I going to be prioritizing a certain faction or strategy for Guild Boss, Infernal, for example? Do I need to skill up this champion to combo with another champion? Talking about Infernal again, a Pyros and a Zillatus type strategy where we need the times to coincide in terms of the duration. We need the 35 seconds. Just be careful, because I found myself personally in this situation too often where I'm like, I burned my skill crystals on things that are nice to haves, and then I really needed them to execute on a specific strategy or a new hero that I pulled after the fact that I liked a lot more. So just be very, very careful. I was too liberal with my usage of skill crystals, okay? When you don't know what to do in this game, sometimes I used to do nothing, okay? I either got lazy about my gear. I'm like, I gotta go through all my gear and it's gonna take me forever. I just won't do anything in the game today. You know, I'll go in, maybe I'll do my faction trials and my tide and guild boss, and that's it. But what I would advise, 3 areas to always focus when you don't know what to do anymore, provided you have the stamina, obviously, right? But I would not sit on stamina in this game. I mean, the obvious disclaimer, if you have something like going on in real life, obviously it's just a game. I'm not asking you to be a full-time head down playing this damn game all day. I'm just saying that, like, it would behoove you in the background to run something if you have the stamina anyway, unless you're saving it for something. Obviously, the first thing you want to do is look at the events and try to find a corresponding event going on right now that you can, you know, get extra rewards, better bang for your bucks. That's the first thing you always want to do, right? But after that, the 3 areas you want to focus on are A, EXP boost and gold boost. Do not farm gold or EXP unless you absolutely need it for something really important that you have to do right now. Don't do it. Don't burn a lot of stamina without getting the bonus, man. A 100% bonus is, I mean, it's half off. You're getting half off your stamina, right? So go in there in your guild shop, go in there in your awakening shop and buy it. If they're not available for purchase, or you don't have the resources to buy either of these right now, I would not farm gold and EXP. I kind of used to do that here and there a little bit, just dabble. I wouldn't burn like thousands of stamina, but it's really, I think it's pretty stupid. You're just throwing away resources, right? So what I would do instead is, while you wait for the refresh or while you try to farm up those resources, I neglected artifact material raid for way too long, right? I would go farm artifact material raid, right? Because artifacts, it's a long slog of an arduous process to upgrade your artifacts. And if you look at my account, given my progression, my artifacts are all really, really behind. It's an area where I'm incredibly weak. I want to say my best artifact is on Ardia right now. I think I have a level 16 somewhere, but that's pretty pathetic given where everything else is on my account. It's because I neglected artifact raid for way too long. So even like after I'm done recording this video, I'm gonna go farm more artifact raid, you know? Furthermore, one thing I didn't used to buy in the shop, in the arena shop, is Mithril. Now I buy it all the time. I think it's a great deal, honestly. And it's funny, in the comments, there was a little debate about this a few months ago on the channel. Somebody, I forgot who or whatever, but basically someone saying this is the biggest waste ever, do not do it. And someone was like, yeah, definitely do it. So I don't know what side of the fence you guys are on, but for me, for 12 arena tokens or whatever coins, I mean, I can get, let's just burn, I don't know, 48, 80 mithril. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's a pretty good deal. You got 100 mithril right there. Now I have 120. You guys can do the math, right? I think it's pretty good. So for that reason, I like to do my arena battles every day if I can. And just, I buy mithril, or like I would have bought stamina ahead of time, or a skill crystal if I needed it, or still crystal here if I needed it. I don't need any of that stuff, or I should have bought the stamina, but you guys get the point. Mithril is not a bad deal at all, right? All right, guys, I just want to end with one more thing. And we touched on this at the very, very top of the video, right? And that is, I should have moved around a bit more, right? I got frustrated. I'm curious if any of you guys did this as well. I got frustrated in this game at times more than I should have, frankly. More than I should have. I can beat this guy too. I'm gonna beat him tonight.
Yeah, and I dare you. I double dare you.
I got frustrated by staying in one area too long when I was under BP. So basically my team, I got a hard rating or worse, right? I got a hard rating or worse, and I'm sitting here just like trying and trying and trying. And of course, you should employ all the obvious strategies. I'm just gonna say them in case you're a first-time viewer or you're new to the game or whatever. But you should always slow down to 1x speed. Don't be afraid to restart a lot, especially when you're learning the patterns, right? So, you know, okay, I'll place this guy over here and try to snipe. Oh, I don't really, okay, I'll use the ult right away, blah, blah, blah. So like, obviously you do all this stuff and oh, that didn't do any damage. What? Okay, oh, there we go. You know, I gotta place him a little bit differently. Restart, 1x speed, you know, go slow, methodically, right? But what I would do sometimes is when I'm already underpowered and I know it, just out of stubbornness, I would focus a lot of time and attention, right? And just like, and inevitably I wouldn't beat the level. Sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't. And then I kind of walk away from a 1 or 2 hour play session feeling kind of lousy. Like, wow, that was a waste of time. Whereas if I had just spread my attention, hey, let's just pretend I tried for an hour on this Void Rift level or a half an hour, whatever, and I couldn't complete it, just go somewhere else, man. There's so many areas in this game. And if you don't know what to do, you know, you could farm somewhere. I'm like, should I claim that now? You should farm somewhere, or you can just work on, you know, faction. You can work on your Pantheon. You can work on your faction trials. You can work on your arena teams. There's so many things to do in this game. That's the beauty of the game, that I would not frustrate yourself by unless you're like really enjoying that. If you're some kind of sadistic gamer, then go for it. But at least for me, I got a little bit aggravated when I would spend so much time when I'm already under-leveled in an area, where I could just come back and it'd be much easier the next day or 2 days or next week even, you know, because I'd progress in other areas as well. Anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Much love. Thank you for watching all the way till the end. Hey, if you enjoyed this, the content here, I invite you to subscribe. We're nearing in on 10,000 subscribers. We started from scratch a couple months ago, so I am pretty happy with that number. And I'm thrilled that you guys seem to enjoy the game and the channel as well. Thank you. And as always, take care, guys.